Hour for Los Angeles. Angelinos are now stuck with two morons responsible for all their problems, and they have to choose between Dumb and Dumber. That's not a choice. That's the machine protecting the machine. And now every problem that plagues Los Angeles because of these two corrupt communists is going to accelerate, and the city will tumble headlong into the abyss. You have no idea how many major developers, hoteliers, business owners, entrepreneurs have been texting me saying they're packing up and leaving town. More of your favorite restaurants will be shuttering. That means less tax revenue. That means the city has to cut services, more potholes, less firefighters, less police patrols, more criminals, more drug addicts terrorizing your communities.
And we haven't ended it.
You have no idea how bad things are about to get for this city. Look at this place already. Weeds growing from every crack and crevice, graffiti over every square inch of public space, garbage, drugs, feces, burned up dogs, burned down towns, abandoned storefronts. This city is a mess, and you're about to reward the arsonist who torched the place with 4 more years of destruction?
I know he's very bitter.
My goal hasn't changed. I've been laser focused on stopping these commie animals, and I will stop them. If you think we uncovered a lot of fraud and evil in the campaign, just wait. We have some recordings of one of your exalted candidates doing and saying something that would make her resign in shame.
You got a lot of damn nerves to be in the face of American people saying for numerous administrations, Iran is a problem. They have to be dealt with. Iran is a problem. They have to be dealt with. And then this man deals with them, and then all of a sudden you're complaining about him now. No disrespect, but do we really think that Zohran Mamdani was the most qualified candidate to be mayor of New York City? Come on now, we know better.
To me, what the Democrats are not doing with this is leading. The energy in their parties with the young people who learn everything about Israel on TikTok. They don't know shit. And their leaders are not standing up and saying, kids, you don't know what's going on here. I mean, as the person who said Democrats are too weak and woke, I think that's your quote. I mean, this has got to be what you're talking about.
Well, look, I mean, I think I will just say what happens in New York City does not work in other places of the country,
That's
right?
correct.
Like I will.
Doesn't work there either, by the way.
Well, they elected.
Bill Maher and Stephen A. Smith just delivered a sharp critique of Gavin Newsom and what they see as California's struggling leadership. They pointed to ongoing concerns such as election integrity debates, rising homelessness, crime, heavy tax burdens, and what they described as ineffective leadership. What makes this conversation especially interesting is that some voices typically associated with the Democratic side are now openly criticizing fellow Democrats, something many viewers rarely get to see. If you have been waiting for a discussion like this, make sure to subscribe because we are diving straight into how they argued that parts of the political left gradually shifted toward more extreme positions without many people even noticing.
Liberal, conservative, they don't know what makes you either one. Conspiracy theories, that they know. And memes, and trolling that also might be true. Maureen Galindo is a Democrat who ran for the House in Texas this year. Describes herself as a judgment-free sex therapist? I hope so. Who wants a judgy one? What would that be? Well, plainly, your dick's too small. Okay, so she's judgment-free, namaste. But she's also said during the campaign she wants to turn the ICE detention center in her district into a prison for Zionists and ICE officers. But she says, putting Zionist billionaires in prison does not mean putting all Jews in internment camps. So a moderate. I guess she thinks she's progressive? Because hating ICE, okay, check, and hating Jews, sure, that's progressive now. But concentration camps? I associate that more with conservatives. Is that just me?
Bill Maher is far from the only person making this argument. Plenty of people believe that governing requires practical judgment instead of blind loyalty to one political side. Simply repeating party slogans does not solve the everyday problems a city faces. The responsibility of a mayor is to improve public safety, strengthen communities, and address real issues that affect residents every day. That is the message Stephen A. Smith emphasized as he shared his perspective, making it clear that leadership should be measured by results rather than political branding.
Democrats, my God, please find somebody who can lead. Gavin Newsom is out here in California. Out here in California. Pulling off in his own way what I think he wants to. He's being known more for trolling Trump on his podcast or with other interviews than what he's actually doing in the state of California. They think that's leadership because they don't have it. They know what they're doing. These politicians know. They know where the money is. They know how to get some of it, too. Because Marjorie Taylor Greene came into office. She was worth a couple of $100,000, according to the reports. How the hell you leave departing and you worth $25 million? Where'd it come from? I work every day. I make a pretty good salary. I ain't making $25 million working on Capitol Hill with a salary that's less than $400,000 by accident. Somehow, some way, lobbyists up on Capitol Hill, you vote in one way or another, making sure that you assuage their concerns and appeal to them and all of this other stuff. And in the meantime, you getting paid, but the American people ain't.
How do you really feel?
That ain't an accident. They know what they're doing. They know what they're doing. They just haven't been called on it. But stay tuned. Stay tuned.
One thing where we have a disagreement, if you have a fundamental values disagreement with an organization, then you shouldn't take their money.
It's just hard for me to comprehend how we can hear someone on Capitol Hill saying, I have a fundamental disagreement with this one issue. As far as I'm concerned, there should be an abundance of issues that you fundamentally disagree with somebody about, considering the politics that go on Capitol Hill and the inordinate amount of issues that have to be addressed. I'm not saying that wasn't serious. I get that part. I'm just saying it's hard to imagine that one issue would do that, but okay, that's you.
It's hard to, I mean, frankly, I think a larger issue for people is if you are, and this is separate from your reason to do so, but if people are in a fad-based way deciding, oh, is this unpopular? Is this going to get me less likes? And I will then stand for that. That makes me very skeptical about what you'll stand for at all. And that if it's a matter of, if people don't like that I do this, are you simply hiding your hands in the long run and doing what you want? I'm very, very skeptical of any politician who decides what they believe in based on what people give them likes for.
That debate is becoming increasingly visible in the Los Angeles mayoral race, where critics argue the conversation has shifted away from solving the city's biggest challenges and toward chasing headlines, public approval, and campaign talking points designed to win votes. According to that viewpoint, the focus has become image instead of meaningful action. Spencer Pratt recently shared his own take on this situation, and in just a moment you will hear how he framed the issue. Before we get there, though, let's first look at what Stephen A. Smith had to say in his message directed at Gavin Newsom.
I'm not down with Gavin Newsom because my issue with Gavin Newsom is like, listen, you look great in those blue suits. You're very articulate, very smart, very quick-witted. I love how you've been trolling Trump because I thought that was necessary, in order to compete with Trump. But I can't ignore the fact that you're number one in unemployment, number one in homelessness and poverty and all of this other stuff, and the price of the affordability issues in California. I can't ignore all of that. I can't ignore the fact that there's no way I can see you winning an election with some of the things that have been happening in the state of California.
Critics argue that if Los Angeles continues electing leaders who approach these issues in the same way, residents should not expect dramatically different outcomes. They believe the city could continue facing familiar challenges, including concerns about crime, homelessness, rising taxes, and campaign promises that many voters feel remain unfulfilled. From that perspective, simply changing faces without changing policies is unlikely to produce the improvements many people have been hoping to see.
Power for Los Angeles. Angelinos are now stuck with two morons responsible for all their problems, and they have to choose between dumb and dumber. That's not a choice. That's the machine protecting the machine. And now every problem that plagues Los Angeles because of these two corrupt communists is going to accelerate. And the city will tumble headlong into the abyss. You have no idea how many major developers, hoteliers, business owners, entrepreneurs have been texting me saying they're packing up and leaving town. More of your favorite restaurants will be shuttering. That means less tax revenue. That means the city has to cut services. More potholes, less firefighters, less police patrols, more criminals, more drug addicts terrorizing your communities.
And we haven't ended it.
You have no idea how bad things are about to get for this city. Look at this place already. Weeds growing from every crack and crevice, graffiti over every square inch of public space, garbage, drugs, feces, burned up dogs, burned down towns, abandoned storefronts. This city is a mess, and you're about to reward the arsonist who torched the place with 4 more years of destruction?
I know he's very bitter.
My goal hasn't changed. I've been laser focused on stopping these commie animals, and I will stop them. If you think we uncovered a lot of fraud and evil in the campaign, just wait. We have some recordings of one of your exalted candidates doing and saying something that would make her resign in shame.
We will get back to the main discussion in just a second, but this connects to what many critics describe as a leadership challenge that Los Angeles has faced for years. They argue that political systems often reward influential insiders, major donors, and established interests, while everyday families continue dealing with concerns about public safety, homelessness, the cost of living, and other daily struggles. That is the broader point Spencer Pratt was making. In his view, effective leadership is not about earning applause or protecting the status quo. It is about understanding what residents are actually experiencing, listening to those concerns, and taking meaningful action before the situation becomes even more difficult. That is exactly why many people believe this discussion matters. Some argue that if the same political habits continue year after year, a country once recognized for strong leadership and national confidence could gradually become more divided and uncertain about its own direction. They also worry that too many people now form political opinions from short social media clips instead of taking time to examine facts from multiple sources. Another issue that continues to spark debate is public confidence in elections, with some Americans saying they want stronger trust and transparency in the process. Whether people agree or disagree, the conversation became significant because it raised questions that many politicians, activists, and media personalities are often reluctant to discuss openly.
I mean, every time any representative, you're always having to serve two masters at once. One is that you are a representative of the people, but you also want to be a leader.
Yes.
And you have to always make that call. To me, what the Democrats are not doing with this is leading. The energy in their parties with the young people who learn everything about Israel on TikTok. They don't know shit. And their leaders are not standing up and saying, kids, you don't know what's going on here. Every war Israel has fought is a war of defense.
Right.
Every war, they were attacked first.
Well,
and they're not doing that.
My pushback would have to be with traditional and conventional Democrats. Let's have just a speck of empathy for them in this regard. You got a younger generation of progressive Democrats that pretty much are making their influence felt. And then you've got the old guard that are at the mercy of them. They want to maintain power. And you want to sit up, you got to receive votes. Look at what happened in New York City. No disrespect, but do we really think that Zohran Mamdani was the most qualified candidate to be mayor of New York City? Come on now, we know better. I'm wishing him well. I'm not being disrespectful. He's smart, he's sharp, he's quick on his feet. I'm not disrespecting him in any way. But he had never done anything. You got a governor, a former governor, who was a 3-term governor, coasting to his fork before the scandal hit. You boot him out of office. He's qualified to get your support for 3 terms, en route to 4, to run the state. But you don't want to run in the city. And you're going to hand the reins to a 33-year-old
he's also a communist.
Okay.
I mean, and I'm not saying that as a slur.
All right.
I'm saying that's his political view. It's a view you're allowed to have in this country, and people are allowed to vote for it.
So you have people that don't mind that, and they want that in this country. And unfortunately, if you're a Chuck Schumer or some of the old guards, you're at the mercy of all of that, still trying to stay in office, knowing that you got voters out there that would support that ahead of you.
I mean, one of the main people who is in his administration, you can read her tweets.
Many viewers, regardless of political affiliation, may relate to at least part of this argument because a common criticism of politics is that those with the most influence often receive the greatest benefits while working families continue facing financial pressure. I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Which president or elected official do you believe made everyday life easier for ordinary Americans? It is a question that sparks passionate debate because many voters feel they repeatedly hear promises of major change, only to see familiar political battles continue while regular people are still dealing with the consequences.
I mean, you mentioned our governor. He used the words culturally normal. He said the party needs to get more culturally normal.
He needs to get more culturally normal. 45%, they're saying 45% of folks in America, whether they vote Democrat or Republican, they're really independent, about 45%, which means that you're going to have a chunk of the American population that's going to influence these upcoming elections. And I'm looking forward to it because it needs to be influenced. As far as I'm concerned, not you, I'm not talking about you, but most folks on Capitol Hill, it just needs to be purged.
Well,
they need to go.
As long as they're being actual...
That is exactly the kind of leadership many people say they want. They are looking for elected officials who pay attention to everyday concerns, apply practical judgment, and focus on solving problems instead of creating new political battles. When leaders prioritize personal agendas or partisan victories above the needs of the public, critics argue it often leads to deeper division, more frustration, and fewer real solutions for people who are already facing difficult circumstances. But the discussion did not stop there because they went on to raise another concern that they believed was even more surprising, suggesting that some lawmakers may not fully understand every proposal they support before casting their votes.
Here's the deal. The problem with that is that I'm not saying to be cruel with no purpose, and I'm not trying to say just to be a provocateur, but
Bill Maher and Stephen A. Smith also discussed what they see as broader cultural changes involving the way children are being raised today. They argued that in some cases parents may hesitate to set clear boundaries because they worry about limiting self-expression or personal freedom. Their view was that guidance, responsibility, and accountability remain important parts of raising children, and they suggested the public conversation around parenting has shifted significantly in recent years.
Did you see what Sir Charles said yesterday about whooping kids?
what did he say?
He said,
Charles Barkley?
You got to spank them.
Oh, no. I don't. I've said this on many occasions. I mean, luckily I haven't had to in the last few years. But I'm a dad. I will whip your ass. Make no mistake. You act up. I'm a black man. I'm not. Ain't no time out in the corner. Not this way. Oh, no. You act up. You gonna feel something. Okay. Make no mistake about it. Now I understand in this politically. I understand in this politically correct world we're living in, and I call it the Oprah-fied society because it started with her and all of these damn explanations for every little thing that went on. Dr. Phil, Dr. Oz, and everybody in between came along thereafter. But it never changed in the Smith household. When I acted up, I got my ass whipped. When my father did, he got his ass whipped. Man, it's been passed down through generations. It ain't changing. You understand? You act up, and you're a kid, and you're disobedient, you're gonna get your ass whipped. They're gonna be corporate punishment, pulling a tree branch. No, they did that in my grandfather's days and stuff like that. They're gonna do that now. But where you get a spanking in the Smith household, hell yes.
From that perspective, Stephen A. Smith made an argument that many viewers are likely to agree with, even if they do not always share his opinions. He suggested that consistent structure, clear expectations, and reasonable discipline during childhood can help shape responsible and respectful adults later in life. Whether people support him politically or not, some appreciate that both he and Bill Maher are willing to challenge opinions within their own circles instead of simply repeating familiar talking points. That willingness to question ideas has earned them respect from audiences across different political viewpoints. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this discussion, be sure to leave a like, subscribe for more commentary, and share your own thoughts in the comments because I would really like to hear your perspective.